The wedding dress in total for both of them, both my ceremony and reception dress, came out to less than $175.
By the authority vested in me by the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster and the internet, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Congratulations, you two.
Can we kiss?
Yeah, please kiss.
Oh, okay.
Please.
My name is Psy.
And I'm Mrs. Psy.
We spent $20,000 on this wedding at a simple affair in Las Vegas, Nevada, and this is our Millennial Wedding.
Once we decided that we wanted to have a wedding large enough to invite a majority of our family and friends, we kind of came up with a rough draft for how many people it would be for our guest list. And based off of that, we started looking into the venue sizes that we would need. Initially, there were about 200 people on our guest list, and that was cutting some down. We started looking at venues. A lot of the venues out here that we found in our research do a lot of all-inclusive. Because we were trying to minimize our costs, maximize what we were getting out of it, we decided that an all-inclusive wasn't going to be the best option for us. And that's how we came across a simple affair. One thing that stood out to us about a simple affair is that we could pick and choose our options.
It's almost like a la carte option.
Well, they have options for all-inclusive where they do almost everything, or they have options to where they pretty much provide the venue and a few other things in there. And that really stood out. And they didn't charge you to use your own vendors, which is a big plus.
And the other plus was it wasn't just a reception, but it came with the ceremony as well.
Another plus for us for a simple affair is that it is an indoor venue, and living out in the heat in the desert and looking at the time frame for when we were possibly going to have our wedding, this was a big plus for us.
We were being very intentional with what we were spending. After we threw in like suits, dresses, accessories, a whole bunch of other things, it just started to add up. We were trying to keep it between $19,000 and $20,000. Going into 2021, we had a plan to start saving money together. So basically dedicated that travel fund as a wedding fund when we already had about $2,500 saved. And we just threw everything we could. Whatever we had left in our budget, we just put it towards the wedding savings. So January we had $2,000, and it was like on average about $3,000, $2,000, $2,500 per month. So by the end of it, we had about $20,300 saved just for the wedding. We spent probably just under $20,000, and we still had some money left over.
My wedding dress, I absolutely loved it. Both my ceremony and late portion of the reception dresses, they came from Lulu's. They have a lot of options. It is all online. The wedding dress in total came out to less than $175.
So that was cheaper than my three-piece suit that I got for almost $500. So imagine that. I mean, you don't really hear that every day, that a wedding dress, two dresses were cheaper than my three-piece suit.
Yes, and when you add in the $100 of alterations that I did, it was still less.
Yeah, yep.
So our wedding colors, we ended up having the groom side in attendance was navy blue, and the bridesmaids, They were wearing a dusty blue color. We didn't call out for our groomspeople and our bridesmaids to purchase a particular dress from any particular venue. We just gave them the colors and then left the option open for them to choose.
Videographer that was kind of a last minute. Their name was Tolman Media, and they will give you a free add-on if you mention FIRE Psy Chat, and I will put their link in the description below. They did an incredible job with the videos. They had all the raw files for us that we can edit ourselves. They videoed the entire ceremony and the reception.
One of the priorities for us on our wedding checklist was having an awesome photographer. It just so happened to be that we already knew one. They did our engagement photos and were very familiar with their work. We ended up hiring Radiant Ink.
Now you can check out their Instagram page, and they have some really cool pictures, professional photos that they do. I'll put their link in the description below as well.
DJs we weren't too familiar with, and we haven't been to weddings out here.
A very big round of applause.
Talking with DJ Speed became pretty obvious that he was the one that was going to be right for us and our personality and the vibe that we wanted to have at our wedding.
He just kind of kept the flow going throughout the wedding, so I thought he did great.
Then DJ Speed did not only the DJing, but he also did the MC and kept the party going and the flow of the event, and he worked very closely with our wedding coordinator, keeping everything on time.
And speaking of the coordinator, we had a wedding coordinator that we decided to have pretty last minute. It wasn't like something that we had on the budget for a while. That's probably one of the reasons why the budget went from 17,000 to about 19,000. But we decided to have a coordinator because I thought it was important for us to not stress out throughout the wedding, and we had someone who could do everything that we didn't want to do. So that was the biggest thing. I thought it was reasonable, and especially with a wedding that's over 100 people, I would highly recommend that you get a coordinator, because on the day of the wedding, you don't want to deal with all the little things like, you know, who's picking up the trash, who's moving where. It's more of a crowd control for the coordinator.
Even though we planned a majority of the wedding ourselves, we looked to her for her expert opinion on certain things to do, how to keep the wedding moving, and making sure there wasn't a lot of downtime for the guests that were there.
But we'll link her information in the description below.
So the centerpieces, coming up with the idea, it was a little rough. Trying to figure out exactly what we wanted to do. The venue itself is so beautiful without any kind of decoration. I'm a big Pinterest fan, and so I found a lot of inspiration on there for what to do. It was more of a Beauty and the Beast kind of inspiration, where we did these cloaks and put the rose inside, and then wrapped them around with the tea lights. Each centerpiece itself, we ordered all of the flowers in bulk. The flowers that we ordered are all artificial, and they're from Ling's Moments. They're fabulous. Each centerpiece came out to less than $2 a piece.
Yeah. So we went outside of the traditional route and just had to cut out the cake cutting ceremony.
We had a traditional vanilla and also a chocolate. We ordered our cakes from Costco and picked them up the day of. We added in other desserts and pastries to have at the table as well, in case anybody isn't necessarily a cake option. We had brownies and breakfast pastries and cookies, and our wedding just happened to fall on National Donut Day. So when we were getting ready, we had a groomsman that brought in donuts for National Donuts Day, and those actually made it onto our dessert table with the donuts and the donut holes, and they happened to be like one of the biggest hits that were there.
Yeah. So we did all this budget. We saved $20,000 for the wedding, all cash. But we decided to take a honeymoon the following year in 2023. Well, one, we're in the bear market and we want to invest a lot more into the market right now because they're on a discount. And two, we already spent enough cash on the wedding, and we think that we don't need to spend that much money in the same year, and we can just split them up and take our honeymoon, and just by saving up more cash going into 2023.
I know that together we can achieve financial independence, and we're truly enjoying our lives right now. Just because we spent $20,000 on a wedding, and a lot of people might feel like, wow, that's a lot of money. But if you're being intentional and you're saving money for an experience that we're never gonna forget, I think it was very well worth it.